It's still Midday Live. Good afternoon. Thanks for staying with us. Time now for business. Well, we will continue from where Bridget Otu ended, talking about energy matters. This time around, we're looking at the Atabo gas project. And we understand board chairman of the Ghana National Gas Company, Dr. Kwesi Botwe, says commissioning activities at the gas infrastructure project at Atabo has been progressing smoothly. Dr. Kwesi Botwe, in a release, noted the gas processing facility is making headway to supply the Volta River Authority. Now, the release again says operational activities on the offshore pipeline component, the onshore pipeline component, regulating and metering stations at Isiama and Abuadze have been smooth. Well, we would be joined on the line shortly by the public relations officer Alfred Ogbami, that is of the Ghana Gas Company, to throw more light on the situational report in and around the Abuadze. Good afternoon to you, sir, and thanks for joining us on Midday Live.
Good afternoon. Now,
can you quickly give us the situational report on the commissioning stage of the infrastructure project?
It's been largely successful. We've gone through the various processes of identifying challenges within the organization in order to prep ourselves for final commissioning. As part of the process, we've been supplying lean gas to the VRA from the 24th of November to date. We've been supplying approximately 60 million scarf, beginning with 60 million standard cubic feet of gas a day on November 24th, which led to the generation of over 100 megawatts of electricity. Currently, with the 60 million scarf, VRA is doing approximately between 180 to somewhere 240. I have to two, which is operated jointly by VRA and their partners on stream, and they are able to take the full volume of gas from our end. We would shoot it up to the optimum production level of 120 million scarf.
So are we meeting that deadline you have given to us? That is the January 15 deadline. Is it realistic, looking at the issues you have raised so far?
Say it again.
The January 15 deadline we have, is it going to be realistic?
I think the deadline was January 30th. Yes, well, the deadline, indeed, the deadline communicated in the latest statement by the board was end of January. That we would have even bypassed it, had not been for some challenges that we felt ought to be addressed. For example, we had some trippings on the FPSO, which is operated by Talo and his partners, that had to be addressed. And as noted in the chairman of the board's letter, our engineers have met Talo and indeed made arrangements to address it. And indeed, since January 5th of this year, we've not had the trippings anymore.
Okay.
Again, it's quite important to know that we had planned and we're expecting that VRA would have completed the retrofitting works on the TICO 2 to enable us to give them the full supply. However, in view of the fact that there have been some slight delays on that angle, we've come up with an alternative strategy to go ahead. So yes, it is much more realistic. Indeed, we would have gone ahead of that and it don't be for these challenges.
Okay. Now,
and it is not going to be a stop and open situation. It's going to be a seamless transfer from, if you like, commissioning to full commercial operation.
Right. Now, I forgive me, I meant January 2015 for that number I mentioned there. But let's now come down to, I would say, the consumers level. We understand that there'll be some supply to the Volta River Authority, but let's look at the impact moving on. How would it impact on electricity supply for the country?
Well, it's going to impact in various ways, not only in terms of electricity generation. First and foremost, currently we are delivering liquefied petroleum gas onto the market. And it's possible that the LPG you use in cooking this morning may have come from Ghana Gas. That in itself is helping to solve the situation of intermittent disruptions in supply. Again, besides the lean gas we send to the VRA, we generate other derivative products. For example, condensates. They're currently going onto the market as well, and being used in the generation of power. It's been lifted and somewhere for generation of power in the thermal enclave. Then we send the lean gas to the VRA. As I speak, as I told you, we currently giving enough lean gas for the VRA to generate or to use in the generation of approximately 160 to anywhere 240. I would have to check the current data with the VRA to be exact with the figures. But let's just say 200 megawatts.
Okay.
Without that 200 megawatts, you can imagine what the situation would be. And I think that you and I quite know that the situation used to be worse than what it is. And that we're doing it much more. It's stabilized a bit, though it's still quite serious. But to be realistic, it is our duty to provide the alternative, cheaper, cost-efficient, effective, reliable gas, lean gas, to the VRA specifically.
So you're saying it all boils down once again to the VRA?
Exactly. We are not a power generation company.
Right.
And our duty is to help the VRA and other power generators generate the power.
Well noted. But before you go, how far have you dealt with the challenges, the ones you call the punches? How far have you dealt with these challenges?
Oh, there are challenges that we've been addressing, and as and when it comes, we address them. And we've gone very far. Indeed, as I speak to you, if we get an order to deliver 90 million scarves, and we're hoping that today we will get that order, we'll be able to deliver it. The post lines will not impact negatively on our ability to deliver. However, there are things that in order to achieve optimum production, we would need to work on, and we'll be working on.
Well, Mr. Ogbami, let's replay again, and information just reaching me from the VRA. We'll be speaking with them shortly, but the VRA says they are not receiving any gas from Ghana Gas Company. How would you defend that?
What do you mean by the VRA?
Well, that is what the VRA is saying. Information just reaching me now. We'll be speaking with Mr. Fletcher quite shortly.
You mean it would be ideal to listen to Mr. Fletcher?
I'm a public relations officer of the Ghana Gas Company, giving us a situational report on commissioning activities at the gas infrastructure project at Atabo and matters arising also. Quite shortly, we'll be hearing from the Volta River Authority on what exactly I said, that they are not receiving any gas from the Ghana Gas Company. But let's move on to look at some more stories this afternoon. And crude oil prices have dropped from $115 per barrel in June 2014 to about $47 in the second week of January 2015. Now, some analysts have already predicted further decline to about $40 per barrel. We'll be taking that story quite shortly, but we're being joined on phone by Samuel Fletcher, who is with the Volta River Authority. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Fletcher. Thanks for joining us on the business segment.
Good afternoon.
Now, we understand you have some concerns regarding the gas supply from Ghana Gas Company. Tell us.
We don't have concerns per se.
But are you receiving gas? Let me be direct. Are you receiving gas from Ghana Gas as stated by the public relations officer some few minutes ago?
We are receiving gas from Ghana Gas. The quantities or the volumes we are receiving is anything between 50 and 60 million standard cubic feet. And we are using everything.
It's not the 200 you had.
Sorry?
It's not the 200 you had, 50 to 60.
No, we have not received. In fact, if we want to be specific, we have not received, since Ghana Gas started production, we have not received anything more than 58 million standard cubic feet.
And is it counter to what Mr. Ogbami said quite shortly? I'm sure you were listening to him. That is why I decided to react to some of the comments.
One of my staff was, but what I'm saying is that I've seen a statement from Ghana Gas saying that they are ready to produce as much gas, but PRA is not ready to take it. And that's what I want to correct.
Okay.
PRA's machines are all running, and they are running in Abuazi, they are running on gas from Atwabo. I'm saying that the 58 million maximum that we receive every day, we are making use of everything. Now, if you gave us 58 million and we were not able to use it, then you can say that we can't take it. All I'm saying is that if you want to talk about TICO, TICO is a separate entity, and we all understand that TICO is going through an expansion. What I'm trying to correct here is that we shouldn't be saying that VRA is not ready to take it. VRA is using the gas we are taking. The rest is left for TICO to use. Obviously, we know that TICO is going through an expansion, so they can't take it.
Right. And one other thing I would want to know is, depending on the supply you get from Ghana Gas, how would it impact on electricity supply for the country?
Well, you need to understand that gas alone cannot produce electricity. If you have gas, you need to have the machines that will use the gas. So with regards to increase in capacity, you would still have to have machines to use the gas. What it does, though, is that it affects the cost of production, significantly, because gas is cheaper, but also gas is a better fuel to use for the plant, because they enhance the performance of the plant. And most of these gas turbines, they're actually called gas turbines, so they are made to run on gas. Occasionally, we have had to run on crude oil in the absence of gas, but ideally, they have to run on gas.
So it then means that we can conclude the energy situation wouldn't end anytime soon, and even it would worsen, if I should put it that way.
I'm not sure I can make that conclusion. I'm not sure you can make that conclusion.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel Fletcher. He is with the Volta River Authority, also clearing the air regarding the supply from Ghana Gas Company. We move on to that earlier story on crude oil, where prices dropped from $115 per barrel in June 2014 to about $47 in the second week of January 2015. Now, some energy analysts have already predicted a further decline to about $40 per barrel. In this News Desk report, we find out what accounts for the continuous fall of oil prices on the world market. The continuous slide in the price of crude oil has been attributed to the demand and supply dynamics. According to international analysts, supply has outstripped demand since the third quarter of 2013. Global demand, specifically from China, is low because of weak economic activity. Even though China's oil imports reached 7 million barrels for the first time in December 2014, oil products demand is slowing as Chinese consumption has become more efficient and less oil intensive. China's opening to world trade was responsible for lifting the oil price from around $20 a barrel to $100. Another factor is that the United States has suddenly become the world's largest oil producer. Though it does not export crude oil, it now imports much less, creating a lot of spare supply. The turmoil in Iraq and Libya, two big oil producers with nearly 4 million barrels a day combined, have also contributed to the drop in glut. The U.S. continues to cut imports from Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and stop importing crude from Nigeria altogether. From June 2014, crude oil prices have dropped from $115 per barrel to $47 per barrel in the second week of January, about a 56% drop. Energy analysts have predicted a further decline in the prices of about $40 per barrel and even further by end of year 2015. According to analysts, price will not return to $100 per barrel anytime soon, primarily because of the strength of the US dollar and other short-term factors. Currently in the United States, a gallon of petrol sells at $2, in UK at £1, and in Ghana 13 cedis per gallon. Countries that have been hard hit are oil exporting countries such as Russia, Nigeria, Iran and Venezuela. The drastic decline would obviously also have an adverse effect on the Ghanaian economy. And this afternoon on the world market is trading below $50, exactly $48.51. That is the price for a barrel of oil there. We'll be giving you more updates in our subsequent bulletins. I'm Nanekia Mensah Brampa.